My beloved child, stop everything right now. This is not an interruption by accident. This is a divine interruption by appointment. Today, yes, this very day, was already marked in heaven with your name on it. Before the sun rose, before you opened your eyes, before you even touched this screen, God approved something for you. And Archangel Michael is stepping forward now to make sure you do not miss it. Listen carefully. This message did not find you because you were scrolling. You were guided here because there is a window open over your life, and that window does not remain open forever. What God approved carries timing, alignment, and obedience. And I must say this with clarity and love. Skipping this moment cancels what was already stamped in heaven for today. There is a reason your spirit felt a pause. There is a reason your heart felt a strange pull. This is the moment where everything slows down, not because God wants to delay you, but because He wants to protect what is coming next. Archangel Michael says, stand still. Lay down the noise. Put aside the urgency of the world, because heaven is speaking now. You have been moving fast lately. Fast decisions, fast emotions, fast survival. But what God approved for today cannot be received in haste. It requires awareness. It requires stillness. It requires you to say, I am listening. Something was planned for you that does not repeat tomorrow in the same way. This is not fear. This is truth wrapped in mercy. There is a divine authorization connected to this day. It is not small. It is not random. It is not symbolic only. It is practical, real, and life-shifting. But it responds to one thing: recognition. Archangel Michael is revealing this now because the enemy already sensed it. That is why distractions multiplied. That is why your schedule felt heavier than usual. That is why doubt tried to rise this morning. Anything that makes you rush past this moment is not harmless. Hear this gently. God approved something for you before you felt ready for it. That approval is not waiting for perfection. It is waiting for attention. You have been praying for clarity, but today God is offering confirmation. You have been asking for direction, but today God is offering alignment. You have been hoping for relief, but today God is offering strategy. This message is the key that unlocks the door, not tomorrow, not later, not when things calm down. Today, Archangel Michael stands as a guardian of divine timing. He does not speak to confuse. He speaks to activate. And he says plainly, do not minimize this day. There is a choice in front of you right now. One path keeps everything as it is, familiar, manageable, predictable. The other path shifts something internally that causes external movement to follow. What God approved may look simple at first. A conversation, a decision, a realization, a pause. But do not confuse simplicity with insignificance. Heaven often moves through what humans overlook. Something that has been delayed around you is not delayed anymore. The delay was not denial, it was preparation. And today is the release point. This is why you felt tired without knowing why. This is why your spirit has been heavy but alert. This is why you have sensed something is about to change, but you could not explain it. Archangel Michael says, the moment has arrived, and it requires your yes. Not a loud yes, not a grammatic yes, a conscious yes. God is not forcing anything. Heaven does not manipulate, but heaven does withdraw when ignored. And that is why this warning is loving, not threatening. Skipping this message does not make God angry. It simply closes the door that was opened specifically for this moment. There are approvals that reappear later, and there are approvals that are date-stamped. This one is date-stamped. You are not behind. You are not late. You are right on time, but only if you stay present. Right now, something is being rearranged in the unseen. Old resistance is weakening. Confusion is losing its grip. A burden you normalize is about to lift, not because circumstances change first, but because you do. Archangel Michael is cutting through fear, through hesitation, through spiritual fog. He is clearing your vision so you can see what God has already said yes to. You do not need to chase it. You do not need to beg for it. You only need to receive it. And receiving begins with attention. So take a breath. Let your shoulders relax. Let the urgency fade. This is not a message to rush you. It is a message to anchor you. Because once this is anchored, movement will follow naturally. What comes next in this message will make things clearer than they have been in a long time. But clarity only lands where there is willingness. This is your moment to stay. This is your moment to listen. This is your moment to open what God approved. If you're ready, say nothing. Just remain here. Beloved one, now that you have stayed, I need you to understand why this moment feels so weighty in your spirit. What God marked for today is not loud on the outside, but it is thunderous in the unseen. Many people miss divine moments not because they are disobedient, but because they are distracted. Archangel Michael is revealing that this day was hidden in plain sight, wrapped inside ordinary hours, so only those who are attentive would recognize it. You may have woken up today thinking it was just another day. Same routine, same responsibilities, same worries. But heaven did not see it that way. In heaven's calendar, this date was circled, not because everything suddenly becomes perfect, but because a shift was authorized. And authorization in the spiritual realm always precedes manifestation in the natural. Archangel Michael says that something you have been carrying internally was never meant to come with you into the next season. You learned to live with it. You adapted. You told yourself it was normal. But today God approved its removal. That is why this message feels urgent but calm at the same time. Urgent because the window is real. Calm because God is in control. Let me speak clearly. What God approved does not depend on other people's behavior. It does not wait for apologies. It does not require validation. It only requires alignment. And alignment begins when you agree with what heaven already decided. There had been an inner conflict inside you, part of you wanting to move forward, another part afraid of losing what feels familiar. Archangel Michael is stepping into that conflict right now. He is not asking you to fight harder. He is asking you to release control. Today is about surrender, not struggle. Something is being neutralized that has been silently working against you. It could be a mindset. It could be fear. It could be a pattern of delay. You did not imagine the resistance you felt recently. But hear this. Resistance always increases right before it breaks. Archangel Michael says, this is the breaking point. That is why you were told to stop. If you had kept rushing, you would have stepped past the very thing designed to help you. God did not chase us down the road of distraction. He waits at the place of obedience. And obedience today looks like attention. You may not fully understand what is happening yet, and that is okay. Understanding often comes after obedience, not before it. Faith is not clarity first, it is trust first. Something about your identity is being recalibrated. You are no longer meant to respond the way you used to. The emotional reactions that once controlled you are losing authority. The need to explain yourself to everyone is fading. God is strengthening your inner boundaries. Archangel Michael is guarding this process. He is standing watch so that fear does not rush you and doubt does not talk you out of what God approved. Do you feel that quiet seriousness in your spirit? That is not heaviness. That is significance. What is coming after today will require a new level of discernment. That is why God paused you first. He is not delaying you. He is preparing you. And let me say this gently. If this message is resonating with you, do not keep it to yourself. Moments like this are rarely meant to be isolated. When you like this video, when you share it, when you leave a comment, you are not just supporting content. You are participating in the spread of a message that could be someone else's lifeline today. Subscribe to this channel and become part of this assignment, because these messages are not random uploads. They are released with intention. And when you engage, when you comment, when you support, you signal your agreement with what heaven is doing in your life. There is also a protection released when you stay connected. Spiritual consistency creates spiritual covering. Archangel Michael is reminding you that agreement is powerful. Agreement multiplies impact. Agreement keeps doors open. Something you have been praying about privately is being addressed publicly through this message. Not with details, but with direction. God is teaching you how to recognize His voice without needing signs to shout. Your spirit is learning to trust stillness. This is also a day of separation, not from people necessarily, but from confusion. You are stepping out of a fog you didn't even realize you were in. That is why things may suddenly feel clearer, even if circumstances have not changed yet. Do not rush to explain this to anyone. Not everyone needs to understand what God is doing with you. Some things are incubated in silence. Archangel Michael says, guard this moment. Stay attentive. Stay open. Stay receptive. What is unfolding next builds directly on what has already been released. Each layer reveals more, but only to those who remain present. This is one of those times where staying just a little longer changes everything. Hold on. What is coming next will connect the dots in a way you did not expect. Chosen one, there is a sacred reason the atmosphere feels different now. What began as a pause has turned into positioning. Archangel Michael is revealing that the moment you decided to stay, something ancient shifted in the unseen. Heaven recognized his attention as consent. By remaining here, you aligned yourself with what God already approved, and alignment always invites acceleration. You are not waiting anymore. Something has already started moving. There is a quiet unlocking happening within you. It is subtle, but it is real. The pressure you once felt to prove yourself is loosening. The fear of making the wrong move is losing its grip. God is not asking you to figure everything out. He is asking you to trust that He already has. Archangel Michael says this clearly. The approval was given before the request finished forming in your heart. That is why this feels emotional in ways you cannot explain. Your spirit recognizes what your mind is still catching up to. Heaven moves faster than human understanding. Today is not about external miracles alone. It is about internal authority being restored. You are remembering who you are. Not the version shaped by survival, disappointment, or compromise, but the version God originally intended. Something that once intimidated you will no longer have power over you after today. Not because it disappears instantly, but because your posture toward it changes. Authority shifts when fear leaves. Archangel Michael is standing with his sword lowered, not in battle, but in victory. The fight you thought was ahead of you is already resolved in the unseen. What remains is your agreement to walk differently. This is why God stopped you. not to scare you, not to pressure you, but to remind you that you are not powerless, forgotten, or late. You have been protected more than you realize. Delays that frustrated you were actually shields. Closed doors were not rejection, they were redirection. And now, the door that matters is open. But open doors still require a step. God is asking you to release the habit of second-guessing. Obedience does not need perfection. It needs willingness. And your willingness is being noticed right now. Archangel Michael says, "This is the hour of alignment, not explanation." You do not need to announce your growth. You do not need to justify your decisions. Heaven is backing what you are becoming. There is also a healing happening in your discernment. You will no longer confuse anxiety with intuition. You will no longer mistake urgency for divine instruction. God is teaching you His rhythm. Slow does not mean stagnant. Still does not mean stuck. From this day forward, clarity will begin to replace chaos. Peace will become your confirmation. And when something is not from God, your spirit will know faster than ever before. This is a turning point. If this message is speaking to your spirit, participate in this moment. Type "I receive the appointed time" in the comments. Blessing code 819 has just been released. As this divine moment settles into your spirit, I want you to understand something sacred. When you support this mission, you are not helping a channel. You are helping light reach souls that are still in darkness. God says in His Word that when you sow into good ground, the harvest multiplies beyond what you can see, and right now this ground is fertile. I feel led to tell you plainly, I cannot carry this assignment alone, and you were not meant to just receive, you were meant to partner. When you give through Super Thanks, membership, or PayPal, which is linked in the description, you are placing oil into the lamp that keeps this message burning. Heaven records obedience faster than intention, and this is a prophetic moment to act. I speak blessing over every seed sown here. May doors open, may clarity increase, and may provision chase you down. Do it now, and watch how God responds. Returning to the message, understand this. What you just felt was not emotion, it was recognition. Archangel Michael is confirming that this day will be remembered by your spirit long after the details fade. Something irreversible has happened. You cannot go back to who you were before you heard this, and that is a gift. You are stepping into a season where obedience feels lighter and resistance feels weaker. Not because life becomes easy, but because you become anchored. Do not rush the rest of this day. Let it unfold. Pay attention to what stands out. Notice what feels heavy and what feels peaceful. God often speaks through what brings rest, not pressure. Archangel Michael remains on guard. Nothing meant for you will miss you. Nothing meant to distract you will succeed. Stay open. Stay aware. Stay willing. What unfolds next will confirm everything you are sensing right now. Beloved soul, now that the internal shift has begun, it is important to understand what follows alignment. Alignment always attracts instruction. God never realigns a life without also releasing wisdom for what comes next. Archangel Michael is not only guarding what has been approved, he is also guiding how you walk into it without fear. There is a reason things feel quieter around you right now. Heaven often lowers the volume of the world when it wants you to hear more clearly. This silence is not emptiness. It is calibration. Your spirit is being tuned to recognize what is from God and what is not, without confusion and without delay. Archangel Michael says, you will no longer need repeated signs for the same instruction. This is significant. Repeated signs often come when trust is weak, But today, trust is being restored. You are learning to move with gentle certainty instead of anxious urgency. That alone will change how doors respond to you. You may notice that some thoughts no longer hold your attention. Worries that once spiraled now stop midway. Old emotional triggers do not pull you as deeply as they used to. This is not coincidence. This is authority returning to its rightful place. God is strengthening your discernment because where He is taking you, clarity matters. You are entering a phase where decisions carry more weight, not pressure, but influence. Your obedience will bless more than just you. Archangel Michael is revealing that you have underestimated how much your internal state affects your external outcomes. Peace is not passive. Peace is powerful. It signals to heaven that you are ready to steward what comes next. There is also something else happening, separation by resonance. This does not mean people will disappear suddenly, but dynamics will change. Conversations that once drained you may no longer hold your interest. Environments that once felt normal may start to feel heavy. This is not judgment. This is discernment sharpening. God is not isolating you. He is refining your connections. You are being drawn toward what nourishes your spirit instead of what merely occupies your time. And this shift will protect you from unnecessary delays. Archangel Michael says, your steps are being ordered quietly. Do not expect everything to announce itself loudly. Some of the most important confirmations will come through calm assurance, not dramatic signs. Trust what brings peace without explanation. There is a lesson God is sealing into your spirit today. You do not have to force divine outcomes. What is approved flows when you remain aligned. Striving creates resistance. Trust creates momentum. This is why rushing ahead would have disrupted the process. You needed to be grounded before moving forward. There may be moments soon where you are tempted to revert to old patterns of thinking. When that happens, pause. Not to analyze, but to listen. God's voice will be softer than fear, but stronger than doubt. Archangel Michael is helping you distinguish between intuition and impulse. Impulse demands immediate action. Intuition invites measured movement. Learn the difference, and you will save yourself from unnecessary battles. You are also being reminded that obedience is not about understanding the full picture. It is about responding to the next clear step. Clarity unfolds as you move, not before. What you have been sensing as something is coming is not vague anticipation. It is preparation. Your spirit recognized the shift before your mind could label it. This is why rest is important right now. Not inactivity, but restfulness. When the soul is rested, discernment sharpens. When the soul is hurried, mistakes multiply. Archangel Michael says, protect your rest as you will protect your prayer. Here is a divine strategy unfolding that does not require overthinking. Simplicity will be your guide. When something feels unnecessarily complicated, pause. God's instructions are clear, even when they are challenging. You are not being tested today. You are being trusted. That distinction matters. Testing examines weakness. Trust recognizes readiness. Heaven would not open this window if you were not capable of walking through it. The strength you need will meet you as you move forward. Notice how this message is not pushing you to do more, but to be more aware. Awareness changes everything. When you are aware, distractions lose power. When you are aware, fear loses its voice. Archangel Michael remains near, not as a distant watcher, but as an active guardian. He is ensuring that what God approved is not interrupted by unnecessary interference. You are safe to proceed. As this day continues, remain observant. Pay attention to what repeats gently, not forcefully. God often confirms direction through consistency, not chaos. What has been set in motion will continue to unfold, layer by layer. There is no rush. There is no loss. There is only alignment. And alignment always leads to fulfillment. Stay open. Stay grounded. Stay willing. What is being revealed next will deepen your understanding of why this moment mattered so much. My dear one, now the message moves deeper, because understanding must follow alignment. Archangel Michael is revealing that what God approved for you today is not only about what changes around you, but about what stabilizes within you. Stability is the foundation for everything that lasts. Without it, blessings become burdens. With it, even small beginnings carry great weight. There hath been a quiet instability you have felt for some time. Not chaos, but uncertainty. A sense of standing on the edge without knowing when to step. That feeling did not come from lack of faith. It came from waiting for the right moment. And now, that moment has arrived. Archangel Michael says, "The ground beneath you is firm now." This is important. God does not ask his children to move forward on unstable ground. When he says go, he has already secured the path. What felt risky before will now feel supported, even if it still requires courage. You are being invited into a season of consistency. Not excitement without substance, but steady growth with depth. God is less interested in quick results and more invested in lasting fruit. That is why he took time to prepare you internally. There is also a release happening from emotional exhaustion. You have been strong for a long time. Strong in silence. Strong without recognition. Strong while carrying responsibilities others never saw. God has not ignored that strength. He has honored it. Archangel Michael is confirming that renewal is part of today's approval. Not rest as escape, but rest as restoration. You will begin to notice your energy returning in healthy ways. Motivation will feel cleaner, not forced. Focus will sharpen without pressure. This shift will also affect how you relate to time. You will feel less rushed, even when busy. Less guilty about resting. Less anxious about outcomes. This is not laziness. This is alignment. Something else is happening quietly. Trust is replacing hypervigilance. You no longer need to scan for what might go wrong. Discernment does not require constant alertness. It requires presence. Archangel Michael says, "You are allowed to breathe now. Let that settle." You may soon notice opportunities presenting themselves in ordinary ways. Conversations that seem casual but carry weight. Ideas that come gently, not aggressively. Invitations that feel natural, not pressure. These are not coincidences. They are confirmations. God often answers prayers through pathways that feel normal once they arrive. Do not dismiss what feels simple. Simplicity is often the signature of divine order. There is also correction taking place in how you measure progress. You have been too hard on yourself, comparing timelines, questioning pace, wondering why things took longer than expected. Heaven does not measure growth the way humans do. Archangel Michael reminds you that roots grow before branches are seen. What you could not see forming beneath the surface is now strong enough to support visible change. You are not behind. You are prepared. This realization will bring peace, and peace will become your compass. When a decision aligns with peace, it aligns with God. When it disrupts peace without clarity, it requires prayer, not pressure. You are learning to trust that God's guidance does not come with confusion. Confusion is not a test. It is a signal to pause. Archangel Michael is teaching you how to pause without fear. This is especially important because where you are going will require you to make choices that affect more than just you. People will be influenced by your steadiness. Your calm will become a refuge for others. Do not underestimate the power of a grounded life. There is also a release from self-blame happening now. You have revisited past decisions many times, wondering if you missed something, if you chose wrong, if you delayed yourself. God is lifting that burden. Archangel Michael says, nothing you regret has the authority to follow you forward. The chapter is closed. Lessons were taken. Wisdom was gained. And now, you move on lighter. As you move forward, stay mindful of your inner dialogue. Speak gently to yourself. Language shapes direction. What you declare internally influences what you recognize externally. God is not asking you to become someone new overnight. He is inviting you to become more fully who you already are. This is a season of integration. Your faith, your experiences, your desires, your wisdom, all coming into alignment. No more fragmentation. No more compartmentalizing your spiritual life from your daily life. Archangel Michael is helping you live from wholeness. You may feel moments of emotion rise unexpectedly. Gratitude, belief, even quiet tears. Do not suppress them. Release is part of healing. What leaves makes room for what arrives. As this message continues, remember that nothing shared here is meant to overwhelm you. Everything is meant to ground you. You are safe. You are seen. You are guided. What God approved is unfolding at the right pace, in the right order, with the right protection. Remain attentive. Remain gentle with yourself. The next revelation will clarify how to move forward without losing this peace. Beloved child, now the message turns toward movement, because alignment without action eventually becomes stagnation. Archangel Michael is revealing that what God approved for you is not meant to stay internal forever. It is designed to flow outward, step by step, in ways that feel guided rather than forced. You may sense a gentle stirring within you now, not restlessness but readiness. This is important to understand. Readiness does not always come with confidence. Sometimes it comes with quiet resolve. God did not wait for you to feel fearless. He waits for you to feel willing. Archangel Michael says, the next step will feel lighter than the last. This is how you will know you are moving in the right direction. Resistance will no longer feel heavy. Challenges may still exist, but they will not drain you the way they once did. You will notice that you recover faster, think clearer, and respond with more wisdom than emotion. There is also a divine narrowing happening. Your focus is becoming sharper. Things that once pulled your attention in many directions are losing their appeal. This is not loss. This is refinement. God often simplifies before He multiplies. You are being trained to recognize what truly matters. Time will feel more valuable. Energy will feel more precious. And you will become more intentional about where you invest both. Archangel Michael is emphasizing discernment in motion. Not every opportunity is an assignment. Not every open door is yours to walk through. Peace will guide you more accurately than excitement. You may soon find yourself saying no more often, not out of fear, but out of clarity. And every no will protect a future yes that matters more. This season also invites courage. Not loud courage, but steady courage. The kind that shows up consistently. The kind that chooses obedience even when applause is absent. God is not calling you to impress people. He is calling you to trust Him. Archangel Michael says, Heaven values consistency more than intensity. Let that anchor you. There will be moments ahead where old doubts attempt to resurface. When they do, remember this day. Remember how clearly you sensed alignment. Doubt often revisits when progress begins, not when nothing is happening. You are not regressing when doubt appears. You are advancing. Something else must be said clearly now. If this message is helping anchor your spirit, do not disengage from it casually. When you like this video, when you share it, when you leave a comment, you are making a declaration that this word matters to you. Engagement is not just digital, it is spiritual agreement. Subscribe to this channel and stay connected, because consistency matters in spiritual growth. These messages are released as part of an ongoing assignment, not isolated moments. When you stay connected, you stay aligned with the flow of what God is unfolding. And let me say this with sincerity, when you support this message by interacting, you help it reach someone who may be standing at their own critical moment today. Archangel Michael is also aggressing impatience. There is a temptation to rush the outcome now that movement has begun. Resist that urge. Speed does not equal progress. Direction does. God's timing is not so. It is precise. You will notice that certain things resolve themselves without your interference. Situations that once demanded your constant attention will settle naturally. This is a sign that you are no longer carrying what God never assigned you to carry. You are learning to trust divine order. This trust will also affect how you pray. Your prayers will become simpler, more focused, more honest. Less explaining, more listening. God values sincerity over eloquence. Archangel Michael says, speak less, trust more. This does not mean silence. It means alignment. When your heart and God's will are aligned, prayer becomes communion, not negotiation. As you move forward, guard against comparison. Other people's timelines are not your blueprint. Your pace is not your measure. What God approved for you unfolds according to your calling, not someone else's highlight reel. You are not late. You are not overlooked. You are positioned. There is also a strengthening happening in your resolve. You will find it easier to follow through on what you commit to. Distractions will have less pull. This is not willpower alone. It is grace at work. Archangel Michael is reinforcing your inner discipline, not through pressure, but through purpose. Do not underestimate small obedient actions in this season. A single aligned choice can unlock a series of confirmations. Momentum builds quietly before it becomes visible. And listen closely now, because this matters. What comes next in this message will reveal how to recognize confirmation without confusion. This is where many people lose clarity, but you will not. Stay with this, because the next revelation will sharpen everything you have received so far. Beloved one, now we move into discernment at a deeper level, because clarity without wisdom can still lead to missteps. Archangel Michael is revealing that as movement increases, discernment must mature alongside it. God is not only guiding your steps, He is training your spiritual senses so you recognize confirmation without confusion. One of the greatest misunderstandings people have is believing that confirmation always comes loudly. In truth, confirmation often arrives quietly, repeatedly, and consistently. It does not shout and settle. It does not rush you. It reassures you. Archangel Michael says, what is from God will carry peace even when it challenges you. This is how you will know. Anything that pressures you into haste, fear, or comparison is not divine guidance. God's direction may stretch you, but it will never destabilize you. It will invite courage, not panic. You are entering a season where multiple options may appear at once. This is not confusion. It is opportunity. But not every opportunity is meant to be acted upon. Discernment will help you recognize which door aligns with your assignment. Pay attention to what draws you closer to God versus what merely excites your emotions. Excitement fades. Alignment remains. Archangel Michael is also revealing that you will begin to notice patterns breaking. Old cycles that once repeated without explanation will no longer hold you. This may feel unfamiliar at first. When cycles break, the mind sometimes looks for what used to be there. Do not mistake unfamiliar peace for something missing. Nothing is missing. Something is ending. Here is also a refining of your voice happening. You will speak with more clarity and less apology. Not harshly, but honestly. God is removing the need to over-explain yourself. Those who need to understand will understand. Those who do not are not your responsibility. Archangel Michael says, your voice carries authority when it aligns with truth. This authority does not come from volume or dominance. It comes from conviction. Conviction rooted in peace is unshakable. You may also notice a shift in how you respond to resistance. Where you once reacted emotionally, you will now respond thoughtfully. Where you once defended yourself, you will now discern whether engagement is even necessary. Silence will become one of your strongest tools. This does not mean avoidance. It means wisdom. Not every challenge requires confrontation. Some dissolve when they are not fed with attention. God is teaching you how to conserve spiritual energy. You are not meant to fight every battle. Many battles resolve when you stay aligned and allow God to intervene. Archangel Michael stands as assurance of this truth. He is not asking you to carry a sword. You are being asked to trust that the battle belongs to the Lord. As discernment sharpens, you may feel a growing discomfort with environments that once felt acceptable. This is not judgment. This is sensitivity. When your spirit becomes healthier, it reacts faster to what is unhealthy. Honor that awareness. Do not override discernment to keep peace with others. True peace does not require self-betrayal. God will never ask you to violate your inner clarity to maintain external harmony. There is also recalibration of your expectations happening now. You will stop expecting people to meet needs God never assigned them to fulfill. This will free both you and them. Archangel Michael says, release expectations that were never promised. This release brings relief. It removes disappointment. It restores joy. Joy is important in this season. Not manufactured happiness, but grounded joy. The kind that exists even when circumstances are still unfolding. Joy is not denial. Joy is confidence that God is present. You will begin to notice gratitude rising more easily. Not forced gratitude, but natural appreciation. For progress, for insight, for peace. Gratitude strengthens discernment because it keeps the heart soft. How do you clearly? A grateful heart can. As this continues, be mindful of what you allow into your mind. Not everything deserves your attention. What you consume influences what you perceive. Choose nourishment over noise. Archangel Michael is encouraging intentional stillness. Not withdrawal from life, but regular moments of quiet. Stillness is where discernment deepens. You do not need to search endlessly for signs. God will confirm what He has approved without confusion. Trust that clarity will meet you as you remain attentive. And understand this, discernment is not about avoiding mistakes completely. It is about recovering quickly when adjustments are needed. Grace covers growth. You are not expected to be flawless. You are expected to be teachable. This season invites humility, not insecurity, confidence that listens, strength that learns. Archangel Michael is pleased with your willingness. Heaven responds to humility with guidance. As you continue, remember that discernment grows through practice. Each aligned choice strengthens your ability to recognize the next one. You are not walking blindly. You are being led carefully. What comes next will deepen this awareness even further and reveal how to protect what God is building within you. Stay present. Stay grounded. Stay receptive. My beloved child, now the message reaches a sacred threshold, because protection must surround what God is building within you. Growth without protection becomes vulnerable. Alignment without covering becomes exposed. Archangel Michael is stepping forward strongly now, not to warn you of danger, but to teach you how to guard what has already been entrusted to you. What God approved for you is precious. That is why it must be protected, not hidden, but guarded with wisdom. You are entering a phase where not everyone needs access to your inner world. This is not secrecy driven by fear. This is stewardship guided by discernment. You are learning that openness without wisdom can drain what God is cultivating. Archangel Michael says, not every listener is a carrier of good intention. This does not mean people around you are evil. It means not everyone is equipped to handle what God is doing in you. Some will misunderstand. Some will minimize. Some will unintentionally speak doubt where faith is still forming. That is why silence will sometimes be your shield. You are not required to explain your obedience. You are not obligated to defend your peace. When something is from God, it does not need constant validation from people. Protection also involves boundaries. Boundaries are not walls, they are gates. Gates allow you to choose what enters and what does not. And in this season, you are being taught how to choose wisely. You may notice that your tolerance for certain conversations has decreased. Complaints, gossip, constant negativity may suddenly feel exhausting. This is not arrogance. This is sensitivity to spiritual atmosphere. Archangel Michael is sharpening your awareness of what feeds you and what drains you. Honor that awareness. Another layer of protection being released is emotional resilience. You will no longer crumble at every disappointment. You will feel things, yes, but you will not be undone by them. Your center is strengthening. God is anchoring you so deeply that external turbulence will no longer dictate your internal state. This is maturity. Archangel Michael says, you are being stabilized for longevity. Longevity matters. God is not preparing you for a moment. He is preparing you for a journey. And journeys require endurance, not just excitement. There is also a warning wrapped in love here. Do not rush to expose what God is still forming. Premature exposure can invite unnecessary interference. Let fruit speak for itself when the time comes. What God is growing in you does not need to be rushed into visibility. It will surface naturally when rooted deeply enough. You may feel moments of isolation, not loneliness, but separation. This is temporary and purposeful. When God strengthens foundations, He often reduces noise. Do not misinterpret this as abandonment. Heaven is closer than you realize. Archangel Michael is standing guard over your peace. And peace is your confirmation that you are moving correctly. If you feel peace even when answers are incomplete, you are aligned. If this message is resonating deeply within you, take a moment now to respond. Type "I am sealed and protected" in the comments. Blessing code 4469 has just been released. As this word of protection settles into your heart, hear this invitation clearly. When you support this mission, you are helping God's light reach souls who are still unguarded, still searching, still weary. The word says that those who pour water will themselves be refreshed, and I feel the Lord saying this is fertile ground. I am speaking to you directly now. Your obedience in giving fuels messages like this that arrive exactly on time for someone else. When you sow through Super Thanks, membership, or PayPal, linked in the description, you are releasing oil into a lamp that must not go out. This is not charity. This is alignment with a divine assignment. I bless every giver now. May protection surround your home. May peace guard your heart, and may provision follow you. Act now, and watch how heaven responds. Returning to the message, understand this. Protection does not mean nothing will ever challenge you. It means nothing will overpower what God has established. You are learning to recover faster, to release quicker, to trust deeper. These are signs of spiritual strength, not weakness. Archangel Michael is reminding you that protection also comes through obedience. When you follow divine instruction, you remain under divine covering. Do not ignore gentle nudges. Do not dismiss quiet cautions. God often protects us by redirecting us subtly. You may feel led to change small habits, adjust routines, distance yourself from certain influences. These are not random impulses. They are protective instructions. Heaven cares about details because details shape direction. Another form of protection being activated is spiritual authority. You will no longer feel intimidated by things that once overwhelmed you. Not because they disappear, but because your perspective shifts. Fear shrinks when authority rises. Archangel Michael says, "You are not vulnerable. You are guarded." Let that truth settle deeply. As you move forward, do not seek conflict, but do not fear it either. What is not aligned will naturally fall away when you remain grounded. Your peace is not fragile. It is fortified. You are being prepared to carry what God approved without losing yourself in the process. This is wisdom. This is grace. This is divine care. Remain attentive. Remain discerning. Remain calm. What unfolds next will show you how this protection translates into tangible results in your daily life. Stay present, because the next revelation connects directly to what you will begin to see outwardly very soon. Beloved one, now the message begins to turn outward, because what God has been shaping within you is about to express itself through your life in visible ways. Archangel Michael is revealing that internal alignment never stays hidden forever. What is rooted in the spirit eventually bears fruit in the natural. This is the stage where many people become uncertain because results begin to appear slowly, quietly, and often differently than expected. Do not misunderstand this phase. God rarely manifests answers in the exact form people imagine. He answers in ways that bring the greatest transformation, not just the quickest relief. That is why discernment, protection, and patience were established first. Now, you are ready to recognize results without missing them. Archangel Michael says, "Look for movement, not spectacle." You may notice subtle changes at first. A conversation shifts tone. An opportunity opens without struggle. A long-standing tension eases. These are not coincidences. They are signs of alignment bearing fruit. What God approved is beginning to touch your environment. This outward movement will also test your trust. When results appear gradually, the mind sometimes questions whether anything is really happening. This is where faith matures. Faith learns to recognize progress before completion. Do not demand instant proof. Allow growth its process. You are being trained to walk by discernment, not by urgency. Urgency demands immediate outcomes. Discernment recognizes unfolding purpose. Archangel Michael is emphasizing awareness in this season. Pay attention to what becomes easier. Pay attention to what no longer drains you. Pay attention to where resistance fades without effort. Ease is often a sign of divine alignment. You may also notice that people respond to you differently. Respect increases. Conversations deepen. Your presence carries more weight. This is not about ego. This is about authority. When internal stability increases, external influence follows naturally. There may also be moments where old patterns attempt to reassert themselves. Familiar frustrations. Old habits knocking softly. Do not be alarmed. This does not mean regression. It means you are now strong enough to recognize and redirect them quickly. Archangel Michael says, what once controlled you will now be corrected by you. That is growth. God is not removing every challenge. He is changing how you engage with them. Challenges will no longer define your mood, your identity, or your direction. They become information, not obstacles. This shift will bring confidence, not loud confidence, but steady assurance. You will trust your ability to respond wisely rather than react emotionally. Another outward result will be clarity in decision-making. Choices that once felt complicated will feel simpler, not because life is simpler, but because your discernment is sharper. You will begin to recognize when to act and when to wait without anxiety. Archangel Michael is confirming that waiting is no longer a place of frustration for you. Waiting has become a place of preparation. When action comes, you will be ready. There is also a restoration of joy happening. Not excitement tied to outcomes, but joy rooted in trust. You will enjoy the process more than before. Gratitude will increase, even in ordinary moments. This joy is not accidental. It is a sign that your spirit is no longer fighting God's timing. As outward changes begin, guard against two common traps. The first is impatience, wanting everything at once. The second is comparison, measuring your progress against others. Both disrupt alignment. Your path is specific. Your pace is intentional. Archangel Michael reminds you that what God approved for you is custom fit to your calling. It cannot be rushed or replicated. You may also find yourself being asked for guidance or support by others. People sense stability. They are drawn to peace. Do not feel pressure to have all the answers. Sometimes your calm presence is the answer. God may use your steadiness to encourage others without you even realizing it. This is influence through integrity. Another sign of outward alignment is increased clarity around priorities. What once felt urgent may now feel optional. What truly matters will rise to the surface naturally. You are learning to invest time and energy wisely. Archangel Michael says, focus is your advantage now. Protect your focus. Do not scatter your attention unnecessarily. Multiplied focus leads to multiplied impact. You may also experience a renewed sense of purpose. Not necessarily a new calling, but a deeper understanding of your current one. Purpose often clarifies itself when distractions fall away. Do not underestimate what you are already doing. God often expands what is already aligned rather than introducing something entirely new. As results continue to unfold, remain grounded. Success without humility destabilizes. Growth with humility strengthens. You are being trusted with increase, whether that increase is influence, peace, clarity, or opportunity. Steward it gently. Archangel Michael stands as witness to this phase. He is not announcing it loudly because loud seasons invite unnecessary interference. This season is meant to unfold naturally. Trust the process. Trust the timing. Trust the guidance you have received. What God approved is not fragile, is unfolding with intention. And now, what comes next will show you how to remain consistent when progress becomes visible. Stay attentive, because the next revelation will help you sustain what is now beginning to grow. Beloved child, now the message turns toward consistency, because what begins in alignment must be sustained with wisdom. Archangel Michael is revealing that many people experience breakthrough, but not everyone learns how to maintain it. God is not only interested in opening doors for you, He is teaching you how to walk through them without losing balance, peace, or focus. Consistency is the quiet power of this season. You are no longer being prepared for a moment. You are being prepared for rhythm, a way of living that stays anchored even when circumstances fluctuate. This is why God hath been patient with you. He was not just bringing you forward, He was building you inward. Archangel Michael says, what you carry now requires steadiness, not speed. You may notice that life does not suddenly become effortless. Responsibilities still exist. Decisions still arise. But the difference is how you respond. You no longer feel overwhelmed by the weight of everything at once. You handle what is in front of you with clarity. This is spiritual maturity taking root. One of the greatest dangers at this stage is distraction. Not obvious distractions, but subtle ones. Overcommitment. Mental overload. The temptation to say yes to everything because momentum has begun. Be mindful. Growth requires boundaries. God does not bless chaos. He blesses order. Archangel Michael is urging you to protect your daily habits. What you do consistently will shape what you sustain. Small disciplines matter more now than dramatic actions. Prayer that is steady. Reflection that is honest. Rest that is intentional. Do not neglect the simple practices that keep you grounded. You may also feel an internal pressure to do more now that progress is visible. Be careful with that voice. Ambition is not wrong, but unchecked ambition can pull you out of alignment. God's pace is still your protection. Archangel Michael says, remain where grace flows easily. Grace is the indicator. When something begins to feel forced, rushed, or draining, pause. Ask for clarity. God's assignments come with provision, not depletion. Another aspect of consistency is emotional regulation. You will face moments of success and moments of challenge. Neither should define you. Stay centered. Do not let highs inflate you or lows discourage you. Stability comes from knowing who you are, not from what happens around you. This is also a season where your choices matter more than your intentions. Good intentions without follow-through do not produce fruit. Obedience lived daily does. Archangel Michael is reminding you that faithfulness is powerful. Quiet faithfulness builds what loud declarations cannot. If this message is strengthening you, engage with it intentionally. When you like this video, when you comment, when you share it, you are reinforcing what God is doing in your life. Engagement is not just interaction. It is alignment in action. Subscribe to this channel and stay connected, because spiritual growth thrives on consistency. These messages are released to walk with you, not just inspire you once. Staying connected helps keep you grounded and focused as this season unfolds. There is also a retention of clarity happening now. You will find it easier to return to peace after stressful moments. Recovery times shortened. Perspective resets faster. This is a sign of inner strength. Archangel Michael says, you are learning how to reset without losing ground. That ability will serve you well. As consistency develops, you may feel less need to seek constant reassurance. Confidence grows quietly. You trust what you have heard. You trust what you have discerned. You trust that God is guiding you even when you are not receiving constant confirmation. This trust frees mental space. Do not be surprised if certain relationships adjust during this phase. Not necessarily ending, but shifting. As your consistency grows, misaligned dynamics naturally recalibrate. This is not rejection. This is realignment. Allow these changes without resistance. You are also being taught patience with results. Sustainable growth takes time. Visible progress will continue, but not always in dramatic ways. Sometimes the greatest progress is internal stability. Archangel Michael is pleased with your steadiness. There is a quiet confidence forming in you now. One that does not need to prove itself. One that does not need constant validation. This confidence is rooted in knowing you are walking in obedience. That is enough. As you move forward, revisit this truth often. You do not need to impress heaven. Heaven is already invested in you. Your role is to remain aligned, consistent, and attentive. Consistency is not boring. It is powerful. You are building something that will last beyond this season. Something that will support future growth without collapse. Archangel Michael remains near, not to push you, but to steady you. Stay grounded. Stay faithful. Stay present. What comes next will reveal how all of this leads toward completion and fulfillment. Remain here, because the final revelations will tie everything together in a way that brings deep assurance and closure. Beloved one, now the message begins to draw everything together, because what God initiates, He also completes with intention. Archangel Michael is revealing that you are approaching a stage of inner confirmation. This is not about new instruction, but about deep assurance. Assurance that you are no longer questioning whether God is involved, but recognizing how consistently He has been present. There is a settling happening in your spirit. You are no longer chasing clarity. Clarity is meeting you. You are no longer wondering if you heard correctly. Understanding is forming through experience. This is the quiet confidence that comes when faith matures. Archangel Michael says, you are standing in answered prayer, even if you have not labeled it yet. Many prayers are answered gradually. They arise as peace before provision, as strength before change, as wisdom before opportunity. You are now able to recognize those answers without doubting them. This stage is important because it anchors you against future uncertainty. When challenges arise later, you will not panic the way you once did. You will remember how God led you through this season, step by step, without confusion or harm. Memory becomes testimony. There is also a release from striving happening now. You are no longer pushing yourself to be ahead, to be faster, to be more. You are learning to be present. Presence creates depth. Depth creates stability. Archangel Michael is confirming that you have moved from survival mode into stewardship mode. You are no longer just trying to get through life. You are learning how to care for what God has placed in your hands. This includes your peace, your time, your energy, and your calling. You may notice that your reactions have softened. Situations that once triggered anxiety now invite reflection. This does not mean you care less. It means you are grounded more. God is teaching you emotional wisdom. Another sign of this stage is gratitude without pressure. You are grateful not because everything is perfect, but because you trust the process. Gratitude becomes a natural response, not a forced discipline. Archangel Michael says, gratitude seals what faith begins. As you reflect on how far you have come, avoid the trap of minimizing your growth. Do not dismiss progress just because it was quiet. Quiet growth often lasts longer. You have grown in discernment. You have grown in patience. You have grown in self-awareness. These are not small things. They are foundational. There is also a sense of closure forming around certain questions you used to carry. Questions about timing. Questions about direction. Questions about worth. You may not have every answer, but you no longer need them all to move forward. Trust has replaced the need for certainty. Archangel Michael is highlighting this because trust is the bridge into fulfillment. God does not require full understanding before He completes His work. He requires willingness and trust. You have given both. This stage also prepares you for the next phase of influence. Influence does not always mean leadership in visible ways. Sometimes influence looks like consistency, integrity, and peace that others notice. People learn more from how you live than from what you say. You may soon realize that others are watching how you navigate life, not critically but curiously. Your steadiness becomes permission for others to seek stability as well. This is impact without effort. Archangel Michael says, "What you carry now speaks before you do." As this assurance deepens, protect it. Do not allow old narratives to rewrite your story. The doubts that once defined you no longer have authority. You are not the same person who started this journey. Honor that change. You may also feel a sense of readiness mixed with patience. You are ready for what comes next, but you are not desperate for it. This balance is healthy. It shows trust in God's timing. God often moves next when we are no longer anxious for Him to do so. There is also a strengthening of your spiritual identity happening now. You are no longer borrowing faith from others. You are standing in your own understanding, shaped by experience and guidance. This faith is resilient. Archangel Michael is reminding you that resilience does not mean you will never feel tired. It means you know how to rest without quitting. You know how to pause without giving up. You have learned how to listen. As this message continues toward completion, take a moment to recognize how you feel now compared to when it began. The difference matters. The peace matters. The clarity matters. These are signs that what God approved has been working all along. You are not waiting for fulfillment. You are approaching it steadily. The foundation has been laid. The alignment has been secured. The protection has been established. What remains is completion. And completion is not right. He arrives at the right moment, in the right way, with the right fruit. Archangel Michael remains present, not to instruct now, but to affirm. Heaven is not silent. It is satisfied with your obedience. Remain attentive for just a little longer. What follows will bring final confirmation, release, and blessing, sealing everything that has been spoken and activated. Stay here. This final movement carries weight, purpose, and completion. My beloved child, now we arrive at completion, not an ending but a sealing. Archangel Michael speaks with calm authority now, because what God approved has reached its appointed fulfillment stage. This is the moment where heaven does not add more instruction, but releases confirmation. You are not standing at the edge anymore. You are standing inside what was promised. Take a breath and feel that certainty settling within you. This journey was never about rushing toward an outcome. It was about becoming steady enough to carry it. And now, that steadiness is evident. The fear that once whispered has grown quiet. The confusion that once clouded has lifted. What remains is clarity that does not need to argue for itself. Archangel Michael says, "What hath been sealed will not be reversed." This is important. The approval given by God was not conditional upon your perfection. It was anchored in His purpose. That purpose has now been activated through your obedience, your attention, and your willingness to stay present when it mattered most. You may notice that you are no longer searching for signs the way you used to. Not because you stopped believing, but because belief has matured into trust. Trust does not constantly ask for reassurance. It recognizes God's hand even in subtlety. This is spiritual adulthood. What God has done in you during this process cannot be undone by external circumstances. Storms may come, but they will not uproot you. Delays may happen, but they will not discourage you. You are anchored differently now. Archangel Michael stands as witness that this season has closed properly. Nothing was skipped. Nothing was right. Nothing was lost. You are carrying forward wisdom, not wounds. There is also a release happening now from the weight of expectation. You are no longer trying to live up to imagined standards, yours or others. You are simply walking in alignment. And alignment produces peace. Peace does not mean inactivity. It means clarity without strain. You will continue to grow after this message, but growth will feel integrated, not chaotic. You will recognize God's voice more easily. You will recover from setbacks more quickly. You will move forward without dragging the past behind you. Archangel Michael says, you are free to move without fear of collapse. This freedom is the true reward. You may still face choices ahead, but you will not face them alone. Discernment has been sharpened. Protection has been established. Consistency has been learned. Assurance has been sealed. Everything you need for what comes next has already been placed within you. This is why skipping this message would have mattered. Not because God is fragile, but because timing is sacred, and you honor the timing. Now, let this sealing be marked. Type "I walk in divine completion" in the comments if this message has settled in your spirit. Blessing code 9021 is now activated. As this divine assignment reaches its seal, I am speaking to you personally now. When you support this work, you are not funding content. You are partnering with heaven to keep doors open for souls who are one message away from hope. The Lord declares that those who sow into good ground will reap in due season, pressed down and overflowing, and this ground is alive with purpose. I feel led to say this plainly. Your obedience in giving is a prophetic act, not a donation. When you release your seed through Super Thanks, membership, or PayPal, the link is waiting in the description. You are fueling the fire that carries God's word to the exact moment someone needs it. I speak blessing over every giver now. May completion come to delayed areas. May provision increase. And may peace guard your household. Do it now, obey without hesitation, and watch how God honors your response. Returning one final time to the message itself. Know this: nothing spoken here was wasted. Nothing received was accidental. Heaven does not speak casually. Archangel Michael remains on assignment, not hovering over you, but walking ahead of you, clearing paths you have not yet seen, guarding steps you have not yet taken. You are not entering uncertainty. You are entering continuity. Carry this peace forward. Carry this clarity forward. Carry this confidence forward, not loudly, but faithfully. What God approved has been opened. What was opened has been received. What was received has now been sealed. Go forward steady, protected, and assured. Heaven has spoken.